Tokyo, November 1943. Imperial Japanese Navy intelligence reviews reconnaissance photos from the Solomon Islands. Guadalcanal. The Americans have constructed an airfield, nothing remarkable. Every invasion requires an airstrip. Standard military engineering takes 6 months, minimum, requires specialized combat engineers, heavy equipment shipped from the mainland, concrete mixed on site. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the story, hit the subscribe button and let us know in the comments from where in the world you are watching from today. The analysts note completion time, 42 days from landing to operational runway. Impossible, must be an error. Perhaps the Americans used a pre-existing Japanese facility. They check records. No Japanese airfield existed at that location. The Americans built it from nothing, in 6 weeks, through jungle. In combat conditions, Vice Admiral Fukudome reads the report. He's a graduate of the Naval Staff College. He understands military construction. His engineers built airfields across the Pacific. Rabaul took 8 months. Truck Lagoon, 7 months. Highly trained construction units. Specialized equipment. Careful planning. 6 weeks for Guadalcanal. American propaganda, probably. Exaggerating construction speed to demoralize Japanese forces. Standard psychological warfare. But then more photos arrive. Bougainville, another American airfield. Operational. Construction time, 38 days, New Georgia. 29 days from beach assault to bomber operations. Tarawa. The Americans land November 20th. By December 10th, B-24 Liberators are taking off from a complete airfield. 20 days. Through coral, under fire. The math doesn't work. Admiral Fukudome requests information on American construction units. The intelligence arrives. They're not engineers, not in the traditional sense. They're called Seabees, Naval Construction Battalions. The name itself sounds informal, unprofessional. These men build airfields? What Tokyo doesn't understand yet is that they're not fighting military engineers. They're fighting American construction workers in uniform, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, heavy equipment operators, men who built skyscrapers in Manhattan, dams in Nevada, highways across Texas. Now they're building victory, one airfield at a time. The Seabees don't exist before December 1941. Pearl Harbor changes everything. The Navy realizes it needs builders. Fast, not soldiers trained to build, builders trained to fight. Admiral Ben Morel proposes a radical concept. Recruit civilian construction workers. Give them military rank based on their civilian expertise. A construction foreman becomes a chief petty officer. A crane operator keeps operating cranes, just in uniform now, with combat training. The Navy approves. Within weeks, recruitment begins. The requirements are simple. Must be American citizen. Must have construction experience. Must be willing to fight. Age range, 18 to 50. They take men rejected by other services. Too old for the Marines. Too specialized for the Army. Perfect for the Seabees. March 1942. The 1st Naval Construction Battalion forms. 1,000 men. Average age, 37. Too old to be infantry. Just right to pour concrete under fire. They train at Camp Allen, Norfolk, Virginia. 6 weeks of training. 3 weeks of construction techniques. 3 weeks of weapons training. They learn to shoot while building, build while shooting. The Japanese naval attaché in Washington observes this mobilization. He reports back to Tokyo. The Americans are forming construction units with older men, non-combat personnel. This confirms Japanese assumptions. America is soft, sends old men to do young men's work. They don't understand yet. These aren't civilians playing soldier. They're professionals who happen to wear uniforms. By May 1942, the first Seabees ship out to the Pacific. They arrive at Bora Bora. Their mission? Build a fueling station. A simple task. They complete it ahead of schedule. Then they request permission to continue working, build something else. Anything else? The Navy learns quickly. Seabees don't wait for orders. They create work. Guadalcanal, August 7th, 1942. Marines land on the island. They capture an incomplete Japanese airfield. The Japanese had been working on it for months. Careful construction, traditional methods. The Marines call it Henderson Field. But it's barely functional, needs completion, fast. The 6th Naval Construction Battalion arrives August 12th, 5 days after the landing. They wade ashore carrying tools, power saws, welding equipment, surveying instruments, and weapons. Every Seabee is armed. Japanese forces still control most of the island. Combat is constant. The Seabees build through it. First priority, extend the runway. The Japanese built it for fighters. The Americans need bomber length. The Seabees work in 12-hour shifts, day and night. Japanese artillery shells the field regularly. Dive bombers attack twice daily. The Seabees take cover, wait for the raid to end, resume work, fill the bomb craters first, then continue extending the runway. September 19th, 1942. Henderson Field is operational. 43 days of continuous construction under fire. The runway handles B-17 bombers. The Japanese can't believe it. Their intelligence reports the field should take months to complete. The Americans did it in 6 weeks, while fighting. But Henderson Field is just the beginning. The Seabees are learning, refining techniques, getting faster. At home, more battalions form. The Navy realizes it needs hundreds of these units, thousands of men. They recruit everywhere. Construction sites across America empty. The workers join the Seabees. One day building bridges in Pittsburgh. Next month building runways in the Pacific. October 19, 42. 14 naval construction battalions exist. By December, 32. Each battalion, 1,000 men, self-sufficient, capable of building anything anywhere. They bring their own equipment. Bulldozers, graders, rollers, cranes, concrete mixers, generators, sawmills, welding shops. Everything needed to build a base from nothing. The Pacific Theatre is perfect for them. Thousands of islands, most uninhabited, no infrastructure. The Seabees turn empty atolls into military bases. They don't need supply lines from friendly ports. They create the ports, then create everything else. Funafuti Atoll, 1943. The Americans need a base. The island is coral. No trees for lumber, no fresh water, no harbour, no airfield. Just coral and ocean. The 2nd and 16th Naval Construction Battalions land in April. They survey the atoll, begin work immediately. First, blast a harbour through the coral reef. Use explosives to create a channel. Takes 2 weeks. Now ships can dock. Next, build storage facilities. The Seabees construct warehouses from prefabricated materials shipped from the States. Then housing, then a hospital, then an airfield. The airfield is the challenge. Coral is hard but uneven, requires massive grading. The Seabees work through the monsoon season, rain every day. They build drainage systems while constructing the runway. Keep the field dry while it's being built. The airfield at Funafuti opens in September 1943, operational in 5 months. The island had nothing. Now it's a major base. Bombers fly missions from there within weeks. Tokyo receives reports of new American airfields appearing across the Pacific. Guadalcanal, Bougainville, New Georgia, Los Negros, Munda, Tarawa, Apamama, Canton, Funafuti. Each one operational within weeks of American landing. The pattern is impossible to deny. The Americans have solved military construction. They build faster than Japan can destroy. Vice Admiral Fukudome requests detailed analysis. His staff compiles data. The numbers are staggering. The Americans are building an average of 3 new airfields per month. 3 per month. In 1943 alone, the Americans will complete 36 major airstrips in the Pacific, 36 operational bases where nothing existed before. Japanese construction doctrine requires specialized engineers. trained at military academies, years of education. They build carefully, precisely. Each airfield is a masterpiece of engineering. Takes 6 to 8 months. The Americans build in 6 to 8 weeks, and the quality is better. Japanese airfields crack under heavy bomber use. American fields handle anything. B-29s. Fuel trucks. The constant pounding of operations. The runways don't deteriorate. Lieutenant Tanaka, captured at Tarawa, undergoes interrogation. The American officer asks about Japanese airfield construction. Tanaka explains the process. Survey team, planning phase. Material delivery, gradual construction, 6 months minimum. The American officer laughs. The Seabees did Tarawa in 3 weeks. Tanaka doesn't believe it. Impossible. The officer shows him photographs. Aerial reconnaissance. Day 1, empty beach. Day 7, runway outline. Day 14, aircraft landing. Day 21, full bomber operations. Tanaka studies the photos. He's a combat engineer. He knows construction. The Americans used what technique? The officer explains. The Seabees don't follow traditional methods. They work simultaneously. While one team grades the runway, another team builds the control tower. While concrete cures on one section, they pour the next section. While the airfield construction continues, other teams build everything else. Fuel storage, ammunition dumps, housing, hospitals, everything at once, and they work constantly, 24 hours, 3 shifts. The construction never stops. Floodlights at night. The Seabees work through darkness, through rain, through air raids. Someone is always building, always moving dirt, always pouring concrete. Tanaka realizes the scope. This isn't military engineering. This is industrial construction applied to warfare. The Americans have turned combat engineering into mass production. They're not building airfields, they're manufacturing them. By January 1944, the Navy has 95 naval construction battalions, nearly 100,000 Seabees. They're everywhere in the Pacific, building everything: airfields, roads, bridges, ports, storage facilities, hospitals, housing, docks, fuel systems, water systems, power stations, communication towers, the infrastructure of war. The Japanese build bases, the Seabees build cities, complete functioning military cities on islands that were empty jungle 6 weeks earlier. The transformation is supernatural to Japanese observers. They've seen American construction speed. They still can't believe it. Marshall Islands, January 1944. Operation Flintlock. The Americans invade Kwajalein Atoll. The Japanese garrison fights hard. Expects relief. The garrison is destroyed in 3 days. The Seabees land while combat continues. They don't wait for the island to be secured. They begin work amid ongoing fighting. Kwajalein has existing Japanese facilities. The Seabees ignore them. American standards are higher. They bulldoze Japanese structures, start fresh. Within 2 weeks, Kwajalein has a functioning bomber base. The runway exceeds the Japanese facility in length and quality. The Americans use it to attack the next target. This becomes the pattern: invasion. Seabees land. Construction begins. Airfield operational within weeks. Use the new base to attack the next island. The Seabees create the infrastructure for island hopping. Without them, the strategy fails. With them, it's inevitable. February 1944. Eniwetok Atoll. The invasion starts February 17th. By March 6th, Seabees have completed a heavy bomber field. 18 days. The Japanese command can't process this speed. 18 days from invasion to heavy bomber operations. Their engineers insist this timeline is physically impossible, but it's happening. The evidence is undeniable. American bombers fly from Eniwetok, attacking Japanese positions that should have been safe, out of range. The new American base extends their reach. The noose tightens. Admiral Koga, commander of the combined fleet, reviews strategic options. Every plan depends on keeping American bombers out of range, but the Americans keep building closer. Each new Seabee-constructed airfield reduces Japanese strategic depth. The empire is shrinking, not through conquest, through construction. Koga orders increased air attacks on American construction sites, destroy the bases before completion. The raids intensify. At Tarawa, Bougainville, Los Negros, Japanese aircraft target Seabee units specifically, bomb the bulldozers, strafe the grading equipment, kill the builders. The Seabees fight back, they're armed. Every man carries a weapon, rifle, carbine. Some units have .50 caliber machine guns mounted on bulldozers. When Japanese planes attack, the Seabees shoot back, while taking cover, then immediately resume work. Casualties don't stop construction. The wounded are evacuated. Replacements continue the job. At Bougainville, a Japanese air raid destroys 3 bulldozers, kills 4 Seabees, wounds 11. The raid lasts 15 minutes. Construction stops for 20 minutes while the wounded are treated, then resumes. The destroyed equipment is replaced within 3 days. Ships bring new bulldozers from Hawaii. The work continues uninterrupted. This resilience horrifies Japanese commanders. They're used to military units degrading under attack, losing effectiveness, requiring rest and refit. The Seabees absorb casualties and keep building. The organization is designed for this. Every Seabee is trained in multiple specialties: carpenter, electrician, heavy equipment operator. If the crane operator is killed, the welder operates the crane. If the welder is wounded, the carpenter welds. The skills overlap. The work continues. March 1944, Japanese Imperial Headquarters conducts strategic assessment. The Americans have constructed 42 major airfields in the Pacific Theater, 42 operational bases. Each one supports dozens of aircraft, hundreds of sorties daily. The Americans are building faster than Japan can react. Strategic surprise is impossible. Every Japanese position is within range of American air power, and that range keeps extending. The assessment includes projected American construction. Based on current rates, the Americans will build 70 new airfields by December 1944. 70. The number seems impossible, but the pattern is clear. 3 airfields per month, 4 during peak operations. The Seabees are accelerating. If you find this story engaging, please take a moment to subscribe and enable notifications. It helps us continue producing in-depth content like this. The projection is wrong. The Seabees will exceed it. They're getting faster. Learning, refining techniques. Each airfield construction teaches lessons applied to the next. By mid-1944, construction times drop to 3 weeks. Some fields are operational in 14 days. Saipan, June 1944. The Battle for the Marianas. Marines land June 15th. The island is large, heavily defended. Combat is brutal. The Seabees land June 17th, 2 days after the invasion. Fighting continues. Japanese forces control parts of the island. The Seabees build anyway. They construct multiple airfields on Saipan, Isley Field, Kobler Field, Marpy Point Field, all simultaneously. Different Seabee battalions work different locations. Competition develops. Which unit finishes first? The rivalry improves speed. Isley Field is operational by June 27th, 12 days after Seabee arrival. While the battle continues, Marines are still fighting in the northern hills. B-29s are landing at Isley Field. Saipan becomes crucial. The airfields there bring the Japanese home islands into range. B-29 bombers, strategic bombardment. The Americans can now strike Tokyo from Saipan. The Seabees made it possible. Their speed of construction changed strategic reality. Japanese reconnaissance photos show Saipan's transformation. Before the invasion, 2 small Japanese airstrips. After 2 months, 4 major American air bases, complete infrastructure, fuel farms, ammunition storage, maintenance facilities, housing for thousands. The island has become an American fortress, built while the battle raged. Emperor Hirohito receives briefings on American construction capabilities. His advisors try to explain, the Americans have different methods, industrial approaches, mass production applied to military engineering. The emperor asks a simple question. Can Japan match this capability? The answer is no. Japan lacks the equipment, the manpower, the industrial base, the organizational philosophy. Everything the Seabees do depends on American abundance. Unlimited materials, endless equipment, replaceable everything. Japan operates on scarcity. Every resource is precious, carefully allocated, slowly used. The Americans waste materials, abandon equipment if it breaks, order replacements. The cultural difference is total. July 1944, the Battle of the Philippine Sea. Japanese naval aviation is destroyed, 400 aircraft lost. But that's not the critical damage. The critical damage is Saipan, the American bombers there, the noose tightening, the strategic situation deteriorating, all because the Seabees built airfields faster than Japan believed possible. Admiral Toyoda replaces Koga as Combined Fleet Commander. He reviews strategic assessments. The American airfield construction dominates every calculation. Defense of the Philippines? Impossible. American airfields in the Marianas provide bomber coverage. Defense of Formosa? Questionable. American airfields advancing. Defense of Okinawa? Unlikely. More American airfields coming. Defense of the home islands? The American construction makes invasion feasible. Toyoda requests information on Seabee casualties. Perhaps the Americans are losing too many construction workers, making the strategy unsustainable. The intelligence arrives. Seabee casualties, moderate. Replaceable. For every Seabee killed, 3 volunteers wait stateside. The organization is expanding, not contracting. By August 1944, 120 naval construction battalions exist. Over 120,000 men, all building, all the time. Tinian, July 1944. The island is 3 miles from Saipan. The invasion begins July 24th. Tinian has excellent terrain for airfields. Flat, suitable for heavy bombers. The Seabees recognize this immediately. Plans are drawn before the landing. The invasion succeeds. The Seabees arrive July 26th. 2 days after the first Marines hit the beach, they build the largest bomber base in the world. Northfield, 4 parallel runways, each over 8,000 feet long, hard stands for over 200 B-29 bombers, fuel storage capacity for millions of gallons, ammunition bunkers for thousands of tons, maintenance facilities capable of completely rebuilding aircraft, housing for 50,000 personnel, all constructed in 4 months, complete, operational, ready for strategic bombardment of Japan. Northfield becomes the base for the atomic bomb missions. Enola Gay takes off from Tinian August 6, 1945. Boxcar launches from there August 9th. The Seabees built the runway that carried the weapons that ended the war. Their construction made strategic victory possible. Without Tinian's airfields, the B-29s can't reach Japan effectively. Without the Seabees, Tinian's, airfields don't exist. The Japanese watch this construction from reconnaissance flights. Photographers capture the transformation. Before, empty island. After, massive airbase. The largest in the Pacific. Built in 4 months, the photos circulate in Tokyo. Military planners study them. Trying to understand, how do the Americans do this? A captured Seabee provides answers. Chief Petty Officer Morrison, construction foreman before the war, built shopping centers in California. Now he builds air bases in the Pacific. Japanese interrogators ask about Seabee training. Morrison explains. 6 weeks. Basic military training 3 weeks. Construction techniques 3 weeks. That's it. 6 weeks from civilian to Seabee. The interrogators are confused. 6 weeks? Japanese combat engineers train for years. Engineering school. Military academy. Specialized courses. Morrison laughs. We don't need training. We already know how to build. We just needed to learn how to fight while building. And we're not engineers. We're construction workers. We built skyscrapers, dams, highways, airports. Now we build the same things, just on Pacific Islands, under fire. The interrogator asks about equipment. Morrison explains, everything is standardized. Bulldozers from Caterpillar, all identical. Break one, replace it. Parts are interchangeable. Operators train on one machine, they can operate them all. Same with graders, rollers, cranes, mixers. Everything standardized, everything replaceable, everything abundant. The Japanese engineer conducting the interrogation understands the implications. America has applied industrial mass production to military construction. They're not building custom solutions for each location. They're deploying standardized systems, repeatedly, at scale. It's the manufacturing philosophy applied to warfare. Build the same thing over and over. Get better each time, faster, more efficient. Morrison mentions something else. The Seabees compete, different battalions, race each other. Who builds faster? Who builds better? The competition drives innovation. At Saipan, one battalion developed a new method for laying runway matting, cut construction time by 30%. That technique spreads to all battalions within weeks. Continuous improvement, American style. September 1944. The Philippines campaign approaches. The Seabees prepare. They've learned lessons from 2 years of Pacific construction. They know what works, what doesn't. They've refined every technique. Construction times are now measured in days, not weeks. Some small airstrips become operational in 72 hours. 3 days from empty beach to aircraft operations. Peleliu, September 15, 1944. The invasion is costly. Japanese defenses are sophisticated. Caves, underground positions. The battle drags. The Seabees land September 17th. They begin airfield construction while Marines fight in the ridges. Japanese artillery targets the construction site. The Seabees build through the shelling, take casualties, continue working. The airfield opens October 7th, 20 days after Seabee arrival, while combat continues elsewhere on the island. Later, October 20, 1944, the Philippines' liberation begins. MacArthur returns. The Seabees return with him. Multiple battalions land simultaneously. They spread across Leyte, building everywhere. Tacloban Airfield, Dulag Airfield, Burauen Complex, San Pablo Field, Bayug Field, Tanawan Field, 6 major airfields under construction simultaneously, all operational within 5 weeks, despite monsoon rains, despite mud, despite Japanese counterattacks. The Japanese Army launches operation against Burauen Airfield. December 6, 1944. Airborne assault. Japanese paratroopers drop on the base, destroy aircraft, attack facilities. The Seabees fight back. They're armed, trained. They're construction workers, but they're also sailors. Combat trained. The Seabees help repel the attack, resume construction the next morning, repair the damage, airfield operational again within 3 days. This resilience breaks Japanese morale. They can destroy American facilities. The Americans rebuild immediately, faster than the facilities can be destroyed. It's like fighting water. Remove some, more flows in. The Seabees are inexhaustible. By January 1945, the Seabees have built 74 major airfields in the Pacific Theater. 74. Each one operational, supporting daily operations. Some support fighters, some support bombers, some support transport aircraft. All interconnect, creating a network, a web of air power spanning the Pacific. The empire is surrounded, trapped inside American construction. Iwo Jima, February 19, 1945. The battle for the island begins. The Japanese understand Iwo Jima's importance. 8 square miles of volcanic rock, no natural resources, no strategic value except one thing: location. Iwo Jima sits between the Marianas and Japan, perfect emergency landing site for damaged B-29s returning from bombing runs, perfect base for fighter escorts. The Americans need it. The Japanese know this. 21,000 Japanese troops defend the island. They've fortified it for months. Tunnels, bunkers, prepared positions. The battle is brutal. Marines take heavy casualties. The fighting lasts 36 days, the bloodiest battle in Marine Corps history. But the Seabees don't wait. They land on D-Day, February 19th. With the Marines under fire, they begin work immediately. While the battle rages, while Marines fight in the caves, the Seabees repair the existing Japanese airfield, extend it, improve it. March 4th, 1945. 13 days after the invasion, while combat continues. A damaged B-29 makes emergency landing at Iwo Jima. The runway is ready. The aircraft lands safely. Crew survives. The Seabees built the runway that saved them. While Marines were still dying in the volcanic rock, the construction never stopped. Eventually, 2,400 B-29 emergency landings occur at Iwo Jima. 2,400 aircraft, each carrying 11 crew members. 26,000 airmen saved, because the Seabees built runways under fire. The mathematics are brutal. 7,000 Marines died taking Iwo Jima. 26,000 airmen lived because of it. The Seabees made that equation possible. Okinawa, April 1st, 1945. The final island. The largest invasion of the Pacific War. The Seabees land in massive numbers, multiple battalions, thousands of men. They build everywhere. Kadena Airfield, Yontan Airfield, Mashinato Airfield, Chimu Airfield, Oroku Airfield, Naha Airfield, Yonabaru Airfield. 7 major airfields, all constructed during the battle. The fighting on Okinawa lasts 82 days, the bloodiest campaign of the Pacific. The Seabees work through all of it, building, constantly. Kadena becomes operational April 13th, 12 days after the landing, while the battle for the island continues, while kamikazes attack the fleet, while Marines and soldiers fight in the rain and mud, the Seabees build. By May, Okinawa has more operational airfield capacity than some major American cities. The island becomes an unsinkable aircraft carrier, pointed at Japan. The Seabees created it. Japanese reconnaissance over Okinawa shows the transformation. Weekly photos. Week 1, invasion. Week 2, runway construction visible. Week 3, aircraft on the ground. Week 4, major base operations. Week 8, multiple massive airfields. The progression is documented, undeniable. The Americans have turned Okinawa into an air power fortress in 2 months. Prime Minister Suzuki reviews the photographs. He's realistic. The war is lost. The American construction capability proves it. They build faster than Japan can destroy. They create bases where none existed. They do it. While fighting, they do it despite resistance. The Seabees represent American industrial might applied directly to warfare. Unstoppable. Inevitable. July 1945. The strategic situation is clear. American airfields surround Japan, Iwo Jima, Okinawa, the Marianas, the Philippines, dozens of bases, hundreds of runways, thousands of aircraft, all operating from Seabee-constructed facilities. The American bombers fly from these bases daily, burning Japanese cities, destroying infrastructure. The Americans don't need to invade. They can bomb Japan into submission from Seabee-built airfields. August 15, 1945. Japan surrenders. The war ends. The Seabees have built 111 major airfields in the Pacific Theater. 111. Each one operational, each one contributing to victory. Some are massive complexes like Tinian. Some are small fighter strips on remote atolls. All are functional. All are Seabee-built. The final accounting is staggering. 111 airfields, 400 advanced bases, 700 miles of roads, 1,000 bridges, 250,000 buildings, 40 million cubic yards of earth moved, 21 million square feet of warehouse space, 43 million gallons of fuel storage capacity. The Seabees didn't just support the Pacific War. They built the infrastructure that made victory possible. Without them, island hopping fails. Each captured island remains useless without airfields, without ports, without facilities. The Seabees turned empty atolls into military bases. They created the logistics network that supplied the advance. They built the runways that projected air power. They constructed the hospitals that saved lives, the ports that landed supplies, the roads that moved equipment. Everything physical about the American Pacific Campaign depended on Seabees. Japanese generals after the war discussed this in prison camps. What defeated Japan? American submarines destroyed, merchant shipping. American carriers dominated naval warfare. American industry outproduced the empire. But underneath everything, American construction, the Seabees, the ability to build anywhere, anytime, under any conditions. That capability made everything else possible. General Yamashita, the Tiger of Malaya, captured in the Philippines, speaks with American officers. They ask about Japanese defensive strategy. Yamashita explains. Every plan assumed American construction would be slow. Traditional military engineering timelines, months to build major bases. This assumption was wrong, catastrophically wrong. The Americans built in weeks, sometimes days. Japanese strategic planning never accounted for this speed. Every defensive calculation became obsolete. American air power extended faster than predicted. Supply lines established quicker than anticipated. The Americans didn't follow military engineering norms. They followed industrial construction practices. Speed, efficiency, mass production. An American officer asks what Japanese forces thought when they saw American bases appearing so quickly. Yamashita pauses. He chooses words carefully. We thought it was impossible. Then we thought it was exaggerated. Then we realized it was real. By then, we were surrounded by American airfields. The war was over. We just didn't know it yet. Admiral Fukudome, who first dismissed the Guadalcanal reports as propaganda, survives the war. He's interviewed by American historians in 1947. They ask about the Seabees. Fukudome is candid. The Seabees were Japan's defeat in microcosm. We fought with honor. We fought with courage. We fought with skill. The Americans fought with construction equipment. They built victory while we fought for survival. We couldn't compete. Not militarily, not industrially, certainly not in construction speed. The interviewer asks if Japanese forces ever captured Seabee equipment. Yes, Fukudome says, several times. Bulldozers, graders, rollers. We examined them. American equipment was superior, more powerful, more reliable. But that wasn't the real advantage. The advantage was quantity. One American construction battalion had more equipment than an entire Japanese construction regiment, and the Americans had hundreds of battalions. We had dozens of regiments. Total. The interviewer mentions the 111 airfields. Fukudome nods. He's seen the number. 111 major airfields, plus hundreds of smaller facilities. We built maybe 30 airfields total in the Pacific. Total. For the entire war, the Americans built 111. The mathematics of defeat. We couldn't match American construction, couldn't approach it. The Seabees won the Pacific War, not the Marines, not the Navy. The men with bulldozers and concrete mixers. This assessment is controversial. Marines storm beaches. Sailors fight naval battles. Airmen fly combat missions. The Seabees build runways. Which contribution matters more? The answer is all of them. But without the Seabees, the others can't function. Marines capture islands. Then what? Without airfields, the islands are useless. Carriers project power, but they need bases for support. Fuel, ammunition, repairs. The Seabees build those bases. Strategic bombing campaign against Japan requires bases within range. The Seabees build them. 111 airfields. Think about that number. 111. In 3.5 years. Across the largest ocean on Earth, on hostile islands, under fire, in jungles, on coral atolls, through typhoons, during combat. The Seabees built constantly, everywhere. The organization peaked at 151 battalions, nearly 160,000 men, all construction workers, all trained to fight, all building victory. The Navy calculates the cost. Seabee operations in World War II, approximately $3 billion. $3 billion. Sounds expensive, until you calculate what they built. Infrastructure that would cost $50 billion in civilian construction. The Seabees built it for 6% of civilian cost because they used military efficiency, standardized methods, mass production techniques, and they worked constantly. No weekends, no holidays, just construction. From 1942 to 1945, non-stop building. After the war, the Seabees transitioned to peacetime. Many return to civilian construction. They bring military efficiency to American building projects, highways, dams, airports, skyscrapers. The post-war construction boom is built by men trained as Seabees. They learned speed, efficiency, working under pressure. These skills translate perfectly to civilian work. Some Seabees stay in service. The organization continues. Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan. Wherever American forces deploy, Seabees go. Building, still. Always. The organization exists today. Smaller, specialized. But the mission remains: build anywhere, anytime, under any conditions. The motto, Construmus batuimus, Latin, we build, we fight. The Seabee motto captures everything. They're builders who fight, fighters who build. The combination defeated Japan. Tokyo Bay, September 2nd, 1945. The surrender ceremony aboard USS Missouri. Japanese officials sign documents. American forces watch. The ceremony includes flyovers, hundreds of aircraft, bombers, fighters, transports, all flying from bases the Seabees built. The flyover is symbolic, a demonstration, American air power, American construction, American victory. The planes came from Okinawa, from Iwo Jima, from the Marianas, all Seabee-built bases. The Japanese officials understand this. Watch the aircraft, know where they came from, know who built the runways. The Seabees aren't at the surrender ceremony. They're building. Somewhere. They're always building. Chief Petty Officer Morrison, the captured Seabee from earlier, is released from prison camp. He returns to America. Resumes civilian life. Goes back to building shopping centers. He's interviewed in 1978 by a local newspaper. Small story, human interest piece. The reporter asks about the war. Morrison talks about the Seabees. The reporter asks what he's most proud of. Morrison thinks, then answers. We built 111 airfields. 111, in 3 years. On islands most people can't find on a map. Each one helped win the war. That's something. The reporter asks if Morrison stayed in construction after the war. Yes, Morrison says. Built shopping malls, office buildings, parking garages. Nothing compared to building an airfield under fire. But I use the same skills. Speed, efficiency, get it done. The Seabees taught me that. Build it right, build it fast, move to the next job. That's the American way. He's right. The Seabees represent the American industrial approach to war. Don't fight harder. Build faster. Don't make war more glorious. Make it more efficient. Don't romanticize combat. Mechanize victory. The Seabees took American construction practices and applied them to military operations. The result? 111 airfields. And Japanese defeat. Today, those 111 airfields tell different stories. Some are still operational. Kadena Air Base, Okinawa, major American installation, still using runways the Seabees built, still projecting American power. Some became civilian airports, Saipan International, Guam International. Commercial jets land on Seabee-built runways. Tourists arrive, business people, students. The runways built for war now serve peace. Some airfields are abandoned. Jungle reclaims them. Vines cover the runways. Trees grow through the concrete. The infrastructure decays, returns to nature. But evidence remains: rusting equipment, concrete foundations, the outline of runways visible from aerial photography. The Pacific Islands bear scars of Seabee construction. Permanent, visible, proof of what happened. And a few airfields become memorials. Tinian's North Field is protected. Historical site. Visitors can see the atomic bomb pits, the runways, the taxiways. Interpretation centers explain the history. The Seabees built this. In 4 months, this is where the war ended. The runways that carried Enola Gay, built by construction workers in uniform. The lesson of the Seabees isn't complicated. War changed in the 20th century. Industrial war requires industrial capabilities. Combat prowess matters. But logistics matters more. Tactics are important, but infrastructure is critical. The Seabees understood this instinctively. They didn't fight to capture territory, they built to exploit it, turned useless islands into strategic assets, created airfields where none could exist, made the impossible routine. 111 airfields. The number itself is the story, not the battles, not the heroism, the mathematics. Japan could build maybe 3 airfields per year. The Seabees built 3 per month. That ratio decided the Pacific War. Nothing else mattered. Superior construction equals strategic victory. The Seabees proved it, definitively, repeatedly, 111 times. Thank you for watching. For more detailed historical breakdowns, check out the other videos on your screen now, and don't forget to subscribe.